Thanks for tuning in to Retro Movie Review. I'm Steve Scott. Time to watch a previously released film to see if it might be worth another or perhaps a first viewing for you. Today's selection is the 1971 Western Doc, directed by Frank Perry and starring Stacy Keach as the legendary gambler, gunman, and dentist John Doc Holliday. Faye Dunaway as Doc's common-law wife, Katie Elder. Harris Yulin plays legendary lawman Wyatt Earp, and Michael Whitney as the head of the local criminal element, Ike Clanton. Our story begins with Doc Holliday winning Katie Elder in a game of five-card stud in a cantina in the middle of nowhere. From there, it's off to Tombstone to meet up with old pal Wyatt Earp, the marshal, and his brothers Morgan and Virgil. Now, wouldn't you know it, the leader of the local criminal element is the same man that Doc beat in a game of cards to win Katie, Ike Clanton. Now, bad blood continues to build between the Clantons and all things Earp and Holliday. Also, Doc begins to settle down with Katie as Wyatt is hatching plans for a political takeover of power. Will Wyatt become a political powerhouse? Will Doc and Katie get married and live happily ever after? Will Ike Clanton get revenge on Wyatt and Doc? I'll let you watch at your own peril and get the answers to those questions. Right now, let's learn a little about our cast and crew. Director Frank Perry was nominated for a Best Director Academy Award for the 1962 drama David and Lisa, a low-budget film that was a critical success. Perry had less than 20 director credits and less than 10 producer credits for his career. His biggest success came with the 1981 release Mommy Dearest, which he directed, and he was the screenwriter, and which starred our leading lady for this cast, Faye Dunaway. Leading man Stacy Keach has been an elite talent for decades. No matter if it's film, television, or theater, Keach delivers. Not that his career never waned, it did, especially when he was imprisoned for 6 months after being convicted of smuggling cocaine into the UK. He bounced back from that, and his career was back on the upswing from the late 1980s on. Now, remembered by many for his portrayal of the title character on TV's The New Mike Hammer, you can check Keach out in the films The New Centurions, The Long Riders, and Escape from L.A. Leading lady Faye Dunaway was 3 times Oscar nominated for Best Actress in a Leading Role for her work in Bonnie and Clyde, Chinatown, and winning for Network. Dunaway has appeared in as many A-list films as any actress in the last 100 years. You can also see her in action in Little Big Man, 3 Days of the Condor, and Mommy Dearest. Harris Yulin is a face and voice you recognize but have trouble putting the name to him. First off, I'm a big fan of his. For his acting, okay, fine, but he was romantically linked with his co-star Faye Dunaway for 3 years in the early 1970s. Way to go, Harris. Now, some of the films he acts in include Night Moves, Scarface, and Clear and Present Danger. Michael Whitney's acting was mainly in television, and you can see his rare film roles in The Way West, Darling Lily, Head On, W, and There Goes the Bride. And that is the complete list of his films. Whitney is probably best remembered for being married to the model Twiggy. Others of note in our film include Penelope Allen. She plays Maddie Earp. Allen is a familiar face who has worked sporadically since her 1956 debut on television. Though she has just under 30 acting credits, she has appeared in such noted projects as Dog Day Afternoon and The Thin Red Line. Bruce M. Fisher portrays Billy Clanton. You might recognize Fisher from his roles in The Outlaw Josie Wales, Escape from Alcatraz, Take This Job and Shove It, and City Heat. And now back to our feature film, Doc. Now this is a classic good-bad film. The good, the acts of Stacy Keach, Faye Dunaway, and Harris Yulin, not to mention Marshall Efron, who portrays the Mexican bartender and steals the opening scene. The production value is also very good, which leads us to the bad, the very bad script. It's revisionist history at its worst. Now, Doc did not win Kate in a card game. The gunfight at the OK Corral did not take place in the OK Corral. There were not 11 men involved in the famed shootout, and 8 men were not killed in this shootout. Now, Morgan Earp is killed in this shootout in the movie. Didn't happen that way. Now, there are 3 ways to watch this film. 1. Clear your mind of any and all knowledge of Tombstone, the Earps, Doc Holliday, Big Nose Kate, the Clantons, Sheriff Behan, and the shootout at the OK Corral, and enjoy an entertaining Western. 2. Every time you recognize a historical inaccuracy, write it down and compare your knowledge with the facts by doing some research. I'll even throw you a bone. Katie Elder, that was not even her real name. And the third way to watch the revisionist movie Doc is by being drunk. And I think Doc Holliday would approve. It's time to fire up the popcorn popper, turn on the DVD player, and bring a bottle of whiskey over here and leave it as we watch Doc. Thanks for listening to Retro Movie Review. I'm Steve Scott.